All right, strap in, everybody. We're going deep on Grok 3 today.
Grok 3.
This is the new AI that everybody's talking about from xAI, and the sources, I'll be honest,
Yeah.
they're in Chinese.
Hmm.
But don't worry, we've got you covered. We're going to break it all down for you.
Yeah, this one is really exciting.
So to set the stage here, we're going to be talking about everything Grok 3,
Yeah.
from the tech breakthroughs, the impact this is going to have, and even some of the controversies.
Mhm.
Now, one of the things that makes Grok 3 stand out is it's not just going after OpenAI's GPT-4 or Google's Gemini.
Right.
It's making some, let's say, bold claims about its approach to AI.
Yeah, they're not pulling any punches with this one.
No, not at all.
They're really aiming to kind of set a new standard with how they're approaching AI.
Okay, so before we get into the unfiltered AI, let's talk about the tech itself.
Okay, so
Because I gotta geek out on this for a second.
yeah.
Grok 3 is straight up crushing it in these benchmark tests. We're talking AIM for math, GPQA for science, and even chatbot arena, where it's holding its own
Yeah.
against some serious contenders.
It's really interesting to see because these benchmarks,
Yeah.
they're not just about,
Bragging
rights. Yeah.
Oh,
They're really designed to push the boundaries of what AI can do.
absolutely.
And the fact that Grok 3 is performing at this level
Mm.
really shows us that we could be on the verge of AI that can grasp complex concepts.
Yeah.
Not just, mimic human language.
Yeah, it's not just about, sounding smart or being clever.
Right.
It's actually about understanding what it's talking about.
Exactly.
But part of how it's doing that is this chain of thought approach.
Yeah, this is really cool.
It's so cool. It's like,
It's like when your math teacher told you.
show your work.
Show your work, exactly.
So Grok 3 is breaking down these problems into steps, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the kicker. It double checks its own work.
Yeah, that's self-verification.
Oh, come on.
It's a game changer, I think.
It's huge.
When you think about AI actually catching its own errors, it makes it so much more trustworthy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Especially for critical tasks.
And it's not just theoretical.
No?
We saw in a live demo, Grok 3 generated the code for a 3D model of Earth and Mars
Oh, wow.
orbiting the sun.
Yeah.
And then for fun, just whipped up some code for a Tetris game
Like, it's not.
with custom rules. Come on.
That's incredible.
Like, it's showing off at this point.
Yeah, and all of this is powered by, frankly, a ridiculous training regime.
Yeah.
200,000 GPUs? That's a 10-fold increase
That's
in
insane.
computing power compared to the previous version.
Oh, my gosh.
And then on top of that, they've added a wider range of data. They've been training it on legal documents.
Oh, wow.
It seems like they're really going after some specialized applications.
So before we get too lost in the sauce here, the good news is Grok 3 isn't just one big, massive AI.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, choose the right tool for the job. They've released it in different versions. So you've got like a mini version for quick answers and then a version that's built for like deep thinking.
Right, so it's much more accessible for different users and different use cases.
Yeah, which makes a ton of sense, right?
Absolutely.
Not everybody needs to be using
The full power.
the full power of Grok 3 all the time.
Exactly.
And then hold on to your hats, folks, because there's also a feature called depth search.
Ooh, now this is where it gets really cool.
This is like straight out of sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's like having an AI assistant that can instantly pull up the latest info on anything from the entire internet,
Analyze it.
analyze it
Yeah.
in real time.
That real-time data analysis is a game changer.
Oh, I know.
Think about it. AI assisting in fast-paced scenarios like financial markets or disaster response.
Oh, yeah.
That's the kind of impact we're talking about.
All right, so let's get down to brass tacks here. How does Grok 3 stack up against the competition?
Yeah, good question.
Clearly, it's going for the big leagues,
Yeah.
taking on GPT-4 and Gemini.
Right.
But here's where xAI is making a bold move, some might even say controversial.
Yeah, tell me about it.
They're marketing Grok 3 as not politically correct and laser focused on what they call pursuing truth.
That's a really interesting and potentially risky position to take
It is.
in the current AI landscape.
And then to solidify its place, especially in the business world, they've partnered with Palantir.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This gives Grok 3 access to a ton of government and enterprise data.
So that's gold.
Oh, it's huge, especially for industries like defense and finance.
Yeah, merging AI and big data like that could have some major implications
Absolutely.
for how information is used.
Yeah, and so xAI isn't keeping Grok 3 locked away.
No.
They're going with what they're calling an open strategy.
Interesting.
So first of all, they're rolling out early access on the X platform,
Okay.
specifically for those X Premium Plus subscribers.
So they're leveraging that existing user base
Yeah.
to get it out there.
Get it in front of as many people as possible.
That's smart.
Then there's Super Grok, which is a premium subscription that
Yeah.
unlocks the even more advanced features, like deeper reasoning and even image generation.
So you get a taste for free, and
Yeah.
then if you want the full power,
Yeah, exactly.
you got to pay.
Got to
Yeah.
pay to play.
Yeah.
But here's what I think is really interesting.
What's that?
They're considering open sourcing Grok 2,
Oh, wow.
the previous version.
That's a big deal.
So imagine a whole community of developers all contributing to this technology.
Yeah, that could really accelerate innovation.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's a pretty amazing idea.
It is.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we got to remember all this amazing AI, it doesn't just magically appear.
Right.
You know?
It takes a lot of resources.
Grok 3's development is having a huge impact on the entire AI supply chain.
It's like a ripple effect, yeah.
Yeah. So this insane need for computing power is driving demand for NVIDIA AI chips,
Okay.
which benefits manufacturers like Dell, Wistron.
Yeah.
Even companies like TSMC and Foxconn are feeling the impact.
Further down the line, yeah.
And xAI isn't just riding this wave,
Right.
they're shaping it.
Interesting. How so?
So they're turning these abandoned factories into data centers,
Oh, wow.
and they're tapping into Tesla's battery tech for energy efficiency.
That's pretty forward thinking.
That's long-term vision, right?
It is, we don't often see that level of commitment to sustainable practices in the AI field.
And a good sign, right?
Yeah, especially with AI becoming more and more complex and demanding, those considerations are crucial.
So we've got a powerful new AI shaking things up, a web of partnerships, and a global supply chain struggling to keep up.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot, and we're just getting started.
Oh, really?
What's next for Grok 3? Well, we're going to dive into that right now.
All right, let's do it.
So buckle up. Okay, so we've talked about the tech behind Grok 3, how it's shaking up the AI scene, and even the impact it's having on, like, companies around the world.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is, but there's this one thing that we keep kind of circling back to.
Look at that.
That whole pursuit of truth idea.
Right.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, it's a bold claim, for sure.
It is.
And I think it deserves a closer look.
Yeah.
Because what is truth in the context of AI, right?
That's a good question.
Can an AI system really be objective?
Especially when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's trained on human data.
Right, which we know.
Which is full of biases.
Full of biases, perspectives, the whole 9 yards.
So it's kind of like we're asking an AI to find truth
Yeah.
in this sea of information that's inherently subjective.
Exactly, and that's where things get a little tricky.
Okay, so how do we address that? It's not like we can just, snap our fingers and make all the bias disappear.
No, definitely not. It's a complex challenge. And it requires a multifaceted approach.
Okay.
I mean, first and foremost, we have to be really careful about the data sets that we use to train these AIs.
Right.
We need to make sure they're as diverse and representative as possible.
Okay, that makes sense. But even with the most carefully curated data,
Yep.
there's still that issue of interpretation.
Right.
Like different people
Absolutely.
can look at the same info
Yeah.
and come to completely different conclusions.
Of course. So how does an AI navigate that?
Yeah.
Well, that's where I think the chain of thought approach comes in.
Okay.
By breaking down its reasoning process step by step,
Right.
Grok 3 could potentially offer a more transparent view of how it arrives at its conclusions.
So it's not just about giving us an answer.
No.
It's about showing its work.
Exactly. Showing the why behind the answer.
Okay.
And that could help build trust,
Yeah.
even if we don't always agree with the conclusion.
Right.
It's about understanding how it got there.
Transparency.
Transparency is key. And it seems like xAI is moving in the right direction with their open source plans and the early access initiatives.
Yeah.
By giving the community a peek under the hood. They're inviting scrutiny. They're inviting feedback,
Which can only help.
which can only help improve the system.
So we've got this AI
Yeah.
that's pushing boundaries, but it's still learning.
Absolutely. It's so evolving.
It's like a student with a lot of potential, but still needs, guidance.
Needs some guidance, some fine-tuning.
Yeah, and speaking of consequences, we can't ignore the economic impact here.
Right.
Grok 3's development is driving this huge demand for AI hardware.
Yeah.
Companies like NVIDIA, Dell, even TSMC, Foxconn.
They're all scrambling to keep up.
It's crazy.
It's a classic example of how technological innovation creates these ripple effects across the entire economy.
It's true.
Grok 3 is essentially creating new markets,
Yeah.
driving investment in chip manufacturing, data centers, you name it.
And xAI is doing some interesting stuff too.
Like what?
Repurposing those old factories into data centers, that's a smart move.
It is. It addresses the growing demand for computing power.
Yeah.
And in a creative way.
And using Tesla's battery tech for energy efficiency.
Yeah, that shows they're taking sustainability seriously.
Which is a good sign, right?
It is. That's something that often gets overlooked in the race to develop more powerful AI.
So it's not just about building a better AI.
No.
It's about building a better infrastructure to support it.
It's a sign of maturity.
Yeah.
Shows long-term thinking.
And that future includes some pretty exciting possibilities.
Like what?
Remember that AI game studio that xAI is creating?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine using Grok 3 to, power these interactive stories with, adaptive logic. That could totally change the entertainment industry.
Imagine playing a game where the characters and the storyline respond to your choices in real time.
I know.
That level of immersion would be incredible.
And they're not stopping there. Voice mode and enterprise API, all that's on the horizon.
So Grok 3 could be integrated into everything.
Everything.
From voice assistants to business applications.
Which is pretty amazing.
It really highlights the versatility of this technology.
Well, it does.
It's not just a language model, it's a platform.
Yeah.
With the potential to transform how we interact with technology across the board.
It's true.
But with all this potential comes responsibility.
Right.
We've talked about the need for careful data selection, transparency.
Right.
But there are other challenges to consider.
Of course.
As these AI systems become more powerful,
Yeah.
we have to be vigilant about the potential for misuse.
Right.
Cybersecurity, data privacy,
Yeah.
even the possibility of malicious actors using this technology for their own ends. Those are all real concerns.
That's a lot to think about.
It is.
Grok 3 is a powerful tool.
It is.
But like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Right. And it's up to us as a society
to guide its development.
Absolutely.
Make sure it's used responsibly.
Couldn't agree more.
So we've explored the possibilities, the challenges, and the ethical considerations surrounding Grok 3.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
One question remains. What does all this mean for you, the listener?
Yeah, what's the takeaway from this deep dive?
Well, we're going to explore that and wrap up our conversation right now.
So stay tuned. So we've covered a lot of ground with Grok 3.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
It has. We've seen how it's pushing the boundaries of AI, and even making us think about the future.
Yeah, and I think we've just scratched the surface, really.
Oh, I agree. But, we've talked a lot about the good stuff.
Yeah, the potential benefits.
What about the risks?
Right, the things that keep AI researchers up at night.
Yeah, like what could go wrong?
Well, I think one of the biggest concerns, even with all this unfiltered AI talk,
Right.
is the potential for unintended consequences.
Okay.
These are incredibly complex systems.
Yeah.
Even with the best intentions, things can go sideways.
Right. It's like the road to hell is paved with good intentions or something like that.
Exactly. We're in uncharted territory here.
Yeah.
So we need to be cautious, constantly evaluating, monitoring these systems,
Right.
anticipating potential problems, building in safeguards.
So one of the risks that always comes up is job displacement.
Oh, of course, yeah.
As AI gets smarter, people start to wonder.
Will robots take our jobs?
Yeah. Will they? What do you think?
It's a valid concern, but I think focusing only on job displacement kind of misses the bigger picture.
Okay.
Throughout history, technology has always disrupted the workforce.
Yeah, that's true.
Creating new jobs while making others obsolete.
So it's not about holding on to the jobs of the past.
Right.
It's about adapting to the jobs of the future.
Exactly. And those future jobs, they'll likely involve working alongside AI.
Right. So using AI's strengths.
Yeah, and focusing on the things that humans do best.
Creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance.
Human and artificial intelligence.
Right. And we need to focus on education, on training programs.
Yeah.
that equip people with the skills they need to thrive in this new landscape.
So it's about empowerment, not replacement,
Absolutely.
and making sure the benefits of AI are shared by everyone.
It's a societal challenge as much as it is a technological one.
That's a great point. So we've got this powerful AI
Uh-huh.
capable of incredible things,
Yeah,
but it comes with a lot of responsibility.
big responsibility.
What's the takeaway here for our listeners?
Well, I think the most important thing to remember is that AI isn't some far-off thing anymore.
Right.
It's here. It's now. Grok 3 is a perfect example.
Yeah.
It's impacting everything: how we work, how we consume information, even how we entertain ourselves.
So we're kind of standing at the edge of this new era,
We are.
and we have a choice. Do we just watch as AI reshapes the world?
Or do we help shape it?
Exactly. The future of AI isn't set in stone.
It's something we create together.
It's up to all of us to stay informed, to ask questions, and to make sure AI is developed and used responsibly.
We need to be thoughtful,
Yeah.
deliberate, and proactive in shaping the world we want to live in,
A world where AI makes us better,
where it empowers us.
not diminishes us.
That's the goal.
So this isn't just about Grok 3. This is about AI as a whole.
This is a conversation that needs to be happening right now.
The decisions we make today.
They have a huge impact on the future.
So our deep dive into Grok 3, it's been a lot.
Yes.
A lot of information, insights, but ultimately it's up to you, the listener, to take this information and do something with it.
Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep the conversation going.
Yeah, the future of AI is in our hands.
It really is.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Grok 3.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.